Hello, and welcome to Belting at Windmills, a proud member of the Doof Network, where we're explanting James S. A. Corey's novel series, The Expanse. I'm longtime Expanse fan, Elliot Debo.
And making my first journey up the well, I'm Reuben Morehouse. This week, we are continuing our coverage of Cibola Burn. We're covering chapters 15 through to 22, and then that little interlude right after. And this week, the people who I thought would escalate the conflict start to de-escalate it. People who I thought would de-escalate it, like Naomi, actually kind of escalated a bit. And then Murtry's just fucking all over the place.
Murtry's the one dude you can count on to do what you thought he was going to do.
Murtry is so interesting to me. I mean, I know we started this thread last week, and there's just going to be a lot of me poking at, like, what do I actually think of Murtry? I find him so slippery to actually understand if I feel like he's a villain or if I actually really like him.
Yes. No, I think let's talk about that because I know exactly what you mean. He's like pushing buttons and like clearly not trying to make things better, but also he doesn't start them.
Well, and yeah, let's talk about it when we get to it. We'll get to it pretty soon, I'm sure. But yeah.
Okay, so we start this week's chapters with chapter 15. We're in Havelock's POV, and we're going to be there quite a few times this week, which is not good for Havelock. But we open this first one. Havelock is reporting on the status of the Edward Israel to Murtry. Basically, he's got the bomb shuttle ready. He's going to start training some of the scientists into being a mini militia. So he gets the chief engineer on board, and they're very careful to only pick Earther scientists. They don't want no dirty belters in their militia.
Yeah. And let's just put a flag in that for later. Havelock is clearly aware that there is a bit of racial tension going on here. He's clearly aware of that, and because he's participating in it. So for him to somehow forget that this is happening would be an insane thing to do. So let's come back to that later.
Yeah, I really like the way Havelock starts talking to the chief engineer about this, and he's like, well, you know, we're just gonna be doing some training, and like he's really kind of cautious going into it, and like seems like he's really worried about how he's going to sell this. And then he brings up the like no belters,
yeah,
and like he just seems nervous to do it a bit. So I kind of like was like hoping this this chief engineer was going to be sold, but he's just immediately like, yeah, no fucking shit, no belters. And it's like, oh fuck, like Havelock's the good one.
Yeah, well, like, you know, the metaphors and couching that Havelock is doing inside his own mind.
Yeah,
we know that the engineer is understanding what the actual meaning behind this is very much loud and clear.
Yeah, well, and he just starts overtly doing it, and it's like, oh yeah, oh god, like at least Havelock's trying to hide his racism. Like, he's the less racist one in this conversation because at least he's trying to hide it, which is like such a low bar.
Yeah, and I do like that we kind of talked last week about Havelock and Basia kind of being very passive observers to things getting worse, and then Havelock in this chapter starts out by taking a pretty active step towards making things worse, right? Like training a untrained kind of civilian militia for a race war, effectively, is what he's doing, right? There's not really a nice way to spin it. It's pretty clearly bad.
But at least he's actively making things worse rather than just watching.
Yeah, he's not a fence sitter anymore, thank God. But yeah, so I also liked, we had some comments in our discussion thread last week about why they haven't just split the planet up, and the answer to that is they don't want to give up any of their claim over the planet, which I think is nice that like we get the confirmation of that, because I was thinking that too. But the answer is there's no chance that they want anything less than 100% of what they were promised.
Yeah. No, there's no sharing.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because there's now 1,000 planets worth of resources, it doesn't mean we could share them, Reuben.
Yeah.
What are you, a fucking communist?
Yeah, sure.
uh, yeah. Anyway, after Havelock kickstarts his militia, he goes and has lunch, and he's actually joined by the captain of the ship, who just sort of politely points out that Fred Johnson is controlling the ring space, and it would be nice if they didn't piss the OPA off enough that the ship becomes a target when they need to go back through there, which they will need to do. And I mean, Havelock just kind of refuses to engage with this point at all.
Yeah.
I mean, like, basically, it's just the captain says things, and Havelock's like, Murtry wouldn't like this, so I fucking hate it.
Yeah, he is kind of, I guess, noticing that he's saying things because it's what Murtry would say, and yet he's still kind of like fully on board with it. He's like, he's aware that he's kind of a chameleon and has no moral core. Which again, is that better? Maybe.
Yeah, no, it's like that. Like, this used to be like a real pet peeve of mine, is when somebody would like, like just sort of like it'd be like, oh yeah, like I have, I'm like really annoying trait, blah blah blah, and it's like it's not like just acknowledging it doesn't make it go away. I mean, this depends on the thing, but it's like if a serial killer is just like, yeah, I know, I chop up bodies. It's like, that's like,
what can you do? It's who I am.
Yeah, like it doesn't make it better that you like own it. And yeah, like that's what I get with Havelock here. But his, it almost seems like he just doesn't quite make the mental leap to actually like grapple. Like his brain makes the leap of like, oh, I'm just saying this because it's what Murtry would say. Yes. And then there's the follow-up thought of like, maybe I should have my own opinions or something. And that's like his brain just kind of nopes out of the thought loop at that point.
Yeah, it does not compute, kind of.
Yeah, like he's like avoiding that part of the thought.
Yeah, which is a fun trait in a character like this. It's fun to, because I think it's nice for us as the reader to know that it's not like the author is overlooking these little things. They're intentionally being like put in there as like, hey, just so you know, he's really he's really just a chameleon. Like, he kind of knows it, but he's not dealing with it. Like, it makes the character's flaws feel much more intentional and like they're going to lead to something really fun, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, we already get like a bit of that in these other Havelock chapters, but like I guess staying with this one, we did have a chapter last week that we kept referring to it as like Basia's. I actually, I don't remember what we called it, but it was like, that one chapter last week where Basia just kept, like, he joined the minecart and then ended up helping Coop kill all the security guys.
Yeah.
And after Coop, it involved Jessica, and it was just like, man, this chapter was just a series of like off ramps for Basia, and he
didn't
take. Yeah. And this is kind of Havelock's equivalent, where it's just like this whole chapter is just like the universe putting up red flags and Havelock being like, I've got my eyes shut.
Yeah, and I think it's a really interesting decision. I guess we'll talk about this a bit later too, but like Basia and Havelock do kind of take the off ramps, but it's after they've already done, it's after it's already too late. You know what I mean? Like, obviously Basia, it's with the the executions of the RCE people last chapter. He soon we'll see him try and take that off ramp, but it's too late. I think for Havelock, it's probably something similar, with the idea that we see him starting to step away from the fascism he's building up here, but he's already made the militia. Like, I think it's already too late, right?
Yeah. No, they're doing the equivalent of like shitting their pants and then starting to make their way to the bathroom, and it's like,
yes,
exactly. You're meant to do this before you shit your pants.
Yeah, totally.
I guess, look, to talk about something positive in this Havelock chapter.
Hit me with
I was fascinated by this dehydrated beef that he's eating.
Oh, okay, sorry, not positive about Havelock.
No, just about the chapter.
Desperately grasping for anything fun.
I really like the sound of this beef that like is like little kernels of hard stuff, but then you put it in your mouth and it like combines with the saliva. Like, so it's not like dry like jerky. It's like, it sounds like when it touches water, it reverts to having a texture almost like beef.
Yeah.
That's some cool like sci-fi neat stuff. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. And that's the one positive thing in Havelock's whole chapter.
Yeah. Okay. This is not overtly negative. But so we get this like snippet from a news thing, or yeah, I think it's a snippet from a news guy where a guy's basically talking about like how Earth should be colonizing all of these planets. Because a lot of Earthers don't seem to have engaged with the discussion of should Earth be the one doing that. But like this is kind of the point. The guy's like, we have to do this carefully if we are to get things done right. Like, it doesn't help that the OPA is using this to make a power grab. And I actually think, like, that's obviously not what Cibola Burn has decided to talk about. But like, I actually like, I guess it just feels like it's on my mind because we're watching a bunch of people try to burn the planet down because AI is inevitable. And like, I think there's this really interesting discussion to be had around like, if there is 1,000 new planets, should we be exploring them in this safe and organized manner, or is that just like too controlling and stupid? Because I also don't think it makes sense to just have it be a free for all and be like, anyone who wants to go to a planet can just fucking go and try not to do too many murders.
Yeah.
But also, like, the UN seems to be going too far the other way, where it's like everything's going to be cataloged and like recorded, and that just like that appeals to me as like somebody who's a bit of a neat freak, or probably just a bit of a control freak. But like, yeah, it's like not realistic, and yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I have really like a point here. It's just like this is almost like a fascinating alternate path that the book could have gone down of like chaos versus control for an expansion, and keeping in mind that these are humans, so like complete control is unrealistic. But like there's almost as like we see with bureaucracy these days, there's almost as many downsides to doing it all by the book as there are downsides to just fucking letting it be a free-for-all.
Yeah, and I think the reason that the townies are here is that things are so shit for post the fall of Ganymede and whatever. Like, obviously, I there's not time to have a slow and chill chat.
Well, this is the, yeah, because there's the angle of this of if your society wasn't shit, so the Ganymede people weren't refugees.
Yes,
then they wouldn't have rushed out here.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah, there's definitely that argument of like sort your shit out at home first before you can like exert complete control over the rest of it.
And I guess kind of an argument that like the reason that they're trying to exert that control is so that the wealth of resources doesn't lead to other factions and whatever. They want to still. It's the old power wants to maintain its power, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And like I think then the argument's already starting to skew towards what's actually happening on this planet, which is why this is the path the book has gone down. But like I would be kind of fascinated to much more explore this idea of like if Earth did have all of its shit together, then it's like how much does it still does or doesn't make sense to control expansion in a cataloged fashion like this.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's something that would interest me. That's an alternative. If anybody has a book that does something like that, hit us up with it.
I'm trying to think if there's a book I can think of that is like that, where humanity really has its shit together, and then it's like, it's not dissimilar from something like a Project Hail Mary or whatever, where humanity in that book / movie, humanity really does come together to solve a problem, which I think is like kind of fun. It's fun to have stories where it's like, what could we, if we weren't such fucking shits, what could we actually achieve?
No, I agree. Like, I mean, there's like, it's the same with all storytelling things. You want the diversity because sometimes it's just like, hey, but what if we just like did the opposite of what the Expanse is doing? And like, let's just pretend humanity can get its shit together and unite.
Can unite on one fucking thing.
Yeah. As I'm thinking, I've never watched like any Star Trek, but like my understanding of Star Trek is it's like kind of a utopian future. So maybe it's maybe I'm basically just requesting
requesting
like
Star Trek
Star Trek.
novelizations.
or just like the concept of Star Trek, and people
Sure.
listening to this are going, "Hey, why don't you just try like the fucking sci-fi franchise?"
But as I understand, the point of Star Trek is more around like specific stories and allegories being told through a Planet of the Week kind of format. I don't know. Maybe it's probably different for the different series as well, I guess.
True, but yeah, I think part of the point is it's like they're on the outskirts because most of the shit back home is just kind of fine.
Yeah.
Because that's not where the story is. But yeah, I don't know. See, I already got my fix of that like episodic story of the week allegory
from
shit,
Stargate. I know.
Yeah, that's what like Stargate just blatantly kind of copied that from Star Trek, is my understanding. So Anyway, getting back to the Expanse.
Yeah.
We are up to chapter 16. It's an Elvi chapter. So basically, we ended last week on that big cliffhanger of like Naomi radioing down.
Something's moving out here.
Yeah.
It's the worms from Tremors, I think. Is my
exactly.
My guess.
Somebody walked with footsteps that were too regular.
Yeah. But God, what a crossover that would be. What if Holden's riding out with Elvi and then a fucking Shai Hulud jumps up and you're like, oh shit, this is in the Dune universe the whole time?
You know those dust storms every afternoon?
Yeah. Nice.
That's the kid with the eye infection who keeps coming up. His eyes are blue because
he's actually becoming one of those guild navigators that you hear so much about.
But yeah, anyway, so Holden is putting together a crew to investigate this movement, and it includes Elvi, our POV character, who, like, honestly, the first half of this chapter is the drive out there. She spends most of it just in her own head, like it's just Elvi time up here.
She is a mess.
She's thinking about everything, but like the task at hand.
It's so funny as well because she's like introduced as kind of a professional, you know what I mean? And like, you know, in the scene where she's considering whether to give the letter of recommendation to Felsia, she's like, no, I can't do that. That would be breaking the rules. It wouldn't be like according to whatever the rules and the protocols and all that shit. But she's like just really falling off the wagon here over these chapters.
Well, her whole thing in our first week of chapters, her whole thing was like she was like judging everyone else for like falling in love and getting in these like field relationships.
Yes.
Just I've sat aside from that, and obviously we're going to get to the Holden aspect of that, but like yeah, exactly. It's like I'm not gonna lie, I'd forgotten that was a thing. And like so, like reading those a few weeks ago, I was just like, sorry, Elvi, you what? Like
yeah. She's a mess. She's a bit of a mess of a character. She's like, she's really kind of, and obviously there are potential reasons for that. I mean, like, obviously there's like quite a lot of violence in this town and whatever, the ship blew up and like all these things, but it doesn't feel like that's why this is happening. It feels like she's like finally gotten away from whatever the structure of her university job or whatever was. And now that she's here, she's just like lost the plot.
Yeah. But I suppose anyway, I wanted to call out this one quote she has amongst her many, many thoughts as she's daydreaming on this drive over. Where she you know, they're basically, there's an argument about whether they like whether it's just an animal that's moving and whether they really need to give a shit. And Holden brings up that there was a power surge, and you know the sort of re-quoting of it that Elvi does in her head in a bit is, animals didn't make a power surge, the aliens did. And I really love that quote because like you're on a fucking alien planet, like all the animals are aliens, you know, but like but it is funny how like seamlessly this line reads where it's like, oh, like the aliens doesn't mean the literal alien life forms they're here to explore. Like the aliens is whatever the fuck built the proto-molecule. Like, you know, and then like similarly the other way, like whatever built the proto-molecule or even the proto-molecule itself, like do they count as animals? Like I'm not enough of a scientist to weigh in on that, but
no, it's like capital A aliens versus lowercase a aliens.
Yeah, like yeah, I really like, I wanted to call out this line because it's so funny how like you want, like you can semantically call it out as like nonsense or whatever, but like it just reads fine. You're just like, yeah, I read this and I instinctively understand animals versus aliens, even though those categories could apply to both of the things it's talking about.
Yeah.
Did I lose you, Reuben?
You did. But I heard you say you instinctively understand the difference between animals and aliens, and then I didn't hear what you said after that.
Okay. I don't. I will just try and save whatever that was in the edit. But yeah. I think the other thing I want to talk about while we're talking about like Elvi being like a real space cadet, the most literal of space cadets, I suppose, now that she's out in a new solar system. But I also really enjoy how Fires is playing off of her as her kind of, I want to say like down to earth interpreter, but obviously like that bad phrasing.
But accurate.
But like, yeah. Well, and especially because he's the one who's, I'm pretty sure he's from Mars and she's from Earth. So it's very funny that he's the one who's more down to earth. But yeah, like I don't know, like I think it's just a really funny dynamic that like Elvi's just always kind of off on another planet, and Fires is the one who's like bringing her down to earth. Especially, I guess she's the exobiologist, he's the geologist. It just works. I just love it as a like, it's so fun that he's kind of like following her around, doing this shit.
Yeah, Fires gets a few moments in the sun this week, doesn't he? He's like, well, it's interesting because he doesn't seem to actually really be that focused on the science aspect of why he's here at all, right? In fact, he said to Elvi a few times that he doesn't really quite, his purpose for coming here hasn't really, eventuated. But he's much better at and much more engaged in trying to make this not just be a shit show, which I think is good. And I appreciate that. And I would say Elvi's the opposite, but I don't know that Elvi is doing that good on her science either. I mean, I guess in her next chapter, we get a bit of background of her kind of technically doing her job, but then not quite doing it as well. So I don't know. We'll see.
There's too many manly distractions to do science.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, I mean, look, let's do an Elvi and get back to reality. We're here to investigate a power spike, and they find what seems to be just a giant fucking robot insect. And it's really big on recycling. And Wei doesn't like this, so with Elvi's accidental go ahead, Wei kills it.
Yeah. Yeah. Kills it right after Holden mentions that it's similar to the things on the space station. And obviously what that makes me think of is when they taught the space station about speed being dangerous. And so I'm like, oh shit, it's going to learn about bullets. That's no good. But it doesn't seem to. It does just seem to die. So luckily it doesn't pan out that they've just taught aliens how to make guns or whatever. Still probably a bad idea way, but it worked out this time.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's this thing where like they're kind of acting like Holden's overreacting, but like we have his context as well, and it's like no, he's totally worrying about the right things, and like yeah, exactly what you said. It kind of works out, but like it could not like it's Wei gets kind of lucky here. It gets to act like Holden's being all hysterical. But like, I knowing what he knows, it's like no, like I'm on his side. Like he's got a point. This shit just pulls magic out of its ass constantly. Like, let's not poke that bear.
Yeah. He's cautious, and I think rightfully so.
Yeah, exactly. Like we'll talk about. Like, there's a bit later where Mercury kind of like makes fun of him for it in a way that is like very funny in how evil it is. But like this is not whole like because I guess a lot of Caliban's war was Holden kind of traumatically reacting to what happened in Leviathan Wakes, which was like fair but led to him making like other mistakes. This is just like I think he was right, like and Wei got lucky in that this didn't result in the world blowing up on her. Also, I guess just to go back to dissing on Elvi, I think it's really funny. Like the second Wei is like, in your scientific opinion, could this thing be a threat? As she's like holding a rifle, and it doesn't take a genius to figure out that what she's doing is looking for an excuse to shoot the giant robot.
Yeah.
And it seems pretty clear that just about everyone but Elvi follows that line of thought as well. And that was just really funny to me that Elvi's just like, it's like, yeah, do you think this could be a threat? And Elvi's just like, well, yeah, I mean, I guess it could be. It's like this classic like scientist just like answering the question as a scientist and not like thinking about the human context of it. It reminds me of the like Large Hadron Collider will create a black hole articles. Like, I don't know if you remember all that, but it was like scientists were being asked like, "Well, could it create it?" And I mean, I guess technically it could, yeah. And it was like, "Oh, it's going to create a black
It's
hole."
going
And
to end
like,
the world. Yeah,
it's like, no, you got to learn to speak in scientists. It's like that's what
Yeah.
Elvi's doing here. It's like, is this a threat? It's like, I mean, yeah, I guess technically it could be, sure. And like, he's like, yeah, fucking great.
And I think things like this are the exact reason that you shouldn't just train random other people in a week to be soldiers. I think there is context and training that is required to make soldiers not just capable at, the violence, but understanding the structures about when they should and shouldn't enact that violence. And I don't know if that's going to become relevant, but I feel like I should just say it.
I don't see how they'd shoehorn that in.
Yeah.
There's also a funny bit. So yeah, this alien bug is presumably 2 billion years old. Which wait, how old's the universe? How old is universe? I mean, this probably changes every couple of years. Okay, like it looks like the current thinking is we're around 14 billion years into the universe.
Okay, so just a seventh.
Yeah, so that's like 13% or something of the universe ago.
That's not that good.
Yeah,
I've heard better.
Fucking chumps. But yeah, well, anyway, this thing has been just hanging out for 2 billion years. And has now come back to life, and Fires just sort of says, "That is not dead, which can eternal lie," or whatever. Anyway, I looked it up, and it's a fucking quote from Lovecraft.
Nice, good on you, Fires.
Which, yeah, like I like Fires is beginning to feel a bit like not like an author insert, but like. Like he's just being used to explain stuff so often, or like give context that it's just like he's not the author insert, but he's like they're like, we really want to spell this out, this Link character, so they just get Fires to do it, and I really love those characters.
Yeah, yeah. It makes me worry for him, like the fact that he is so reasonable and with it about everything. it's the exact kind of marker that means the character's probably going to die pretty soon. In my mind, that's what I can't help but think.
He's too helpful. He's not going to lead us on weird side quests. Get rid of him. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, we basically find out this bug is seemingly Holden suspects that what it's doing is eating the local wildlife to like reconstitute their parts to, I don't know, for whatever the protomolecule machine needs. And the thing that comes up is this sort of like one of the quotes here is like the protomolecule repurposed biological systems during the Eros event as well. And I just think it's so funny that they can have quotes like that in the context of them just like coming and like hanging out on this planet. Like, I don't know, this is kind of what like Bobby brought up in the prologue to this book, but it's just so funny to me that humans will be like, yes, we've discovered this ancient technology that's whole thing is like takes over alien life and repurposes it to its own thing. Let's just go poke around. Like let's just find out what's there.
And not just that, we're going to build our life here. Is the moral of the townies.
And like I guess because on that note, basically, so the accord which Holden and Way reach in the wake of all this is we're going to burn the body just to make sure it's fucking dead.
Yes. Good call. Great call.
Yeah. No, like, I mean, if everyone in this party is on the same page about it, it's a good call. But I also like just, I guess from like an imagery perspective or whatever, like I love how primitive and barbaric it kind of feels to just like this is a 2 billion year old machine that was like recycling completely foreign non-DNA based life into something it could use for its own machiney purposes. So like it's this kind of nigh eternal thing that wanders around fucking recycling, and like humans come in, shoot it in the face, and then just like burn it and like create a fucking smoke fire. Wait, just the brutality and messiness of burning this thing really contrasts with the elegance of its design in a fun way.
Yeah, it does, and it's very, as you said, kind of very human, right?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting to think about that in context of the fact that this whole planet is, uh, constructed. They've operated on a system that is like able to build planets full of resources, and we as humans are like consuming our planet of all of its resources and every single like scrap
Yeah.
we can, and they have built things that are doing the opposite, right? Making planets into resources. That's kind of putting it bluntly, but like they've
Yeah.
obviously learned how to not just consume, but to create the kinds of complex and long-lasting things that we can't. But we're coming in and burning it. I don't know. It's just like it's fun to think about humans just
Yeah.
like stumbling and burning their way across the galaxy of majesties.
I guess, yeah. Well, like it's like the weird thing is the proto molecule builders are somehow both better and worse than us at like environmentalism. Because
Yeah.
on the one hand, they show up and immediately like wipe out the entire fucking ecosystem. But
Yeah.
then the
Yeah.
ones they build are better than what we do.
Yeah.
Like they take it over and do it properly, whereas like humans just are kind of half-assedly fucking up everything. So yeah, like they start with a genocide, but then they seem to do a pretty solid job after the genocide, which like not great or whatever. But like humans are kind of doing the worst of both worlds, and that we're coming, wrecking a bunch of shit, and also just like not making it good for us either. So that like yeah, maybe that like the proto molecule is interesting because it feels like it's both better and worse because it does come and intentionally kill everything, but also then it does well after that.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that it is like this vacuum recycler that like sucks up everything and just turns it into question mark, question mark, question mark. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we should talk about the highlight of the chapter,
Yeah, sure.
which is of course at night. Elvi joins Holden on watch as they're watching this thing burn because she can't sleep. And, they just chat about life and their hopes and their dreams and the nature of the protomolecule builders and how emotionally vulnerable and masculine Holden is. And, how she hopes they're not cousins is basically the punchline to this. To see, which is such a fucking weird line that even Holden's just like, I'd rather take the risk with the alien giant robot coming back than stay in this conversation.
Yeah. Oh god. Elvi, what is going on with her? Yeah. She's I don't know where to place her in my mind. I don't know what or like what her purpose in the story will be or is, because she's kind of she's like lost in this narrative and she's kind of very adrift in a very interesting way.
Yeah, I mean she would be a finder if she was in the other verse for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's just this whole segment is just kind of like yeah. I agree. It's funny because like the other thing with Elvi is it's like, is she smart or an idiot? Like she seems to be both. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see as we continue following her journey of cringe. I do want to also point out as well, one of the things Holden says in this chat before suggesting that they, may be blood related, is he asks her, "Why do you think the giant robot woke up?" And I think what is interesting is like Holden kind of brings this up a few times in these chapters this week, and I have to say, it's wild to me that he's the only one who seems interested in asking this question.
Yeah. Guys, this is the thing to be focusing on, as always. No one else seems to care, but the fact that a thing has been slumbering for 2 billion years and now suddenly woke up, like that's worrying. And I think we know the answer. I mean, I think we find it out explicitly in the final interlude, but the answer is because Holden and
Yeah.
his dark passenger have arrived. But yeah, just
Yeah, I mean,
you should
you're
be
right. That
worrying
is,
about that.
yeah, you're right. It's funny though. Like Holden's the only one asking it, and I think, yeah, like I agree at this point that it's like the answer would seem to be it's his fault explicitly for coming and letting the proto molecules start like probing.
Mm,
But so there's an extra added irony to him being like the only one who's like, why am I the only one who's taking this seriously? And then it's actually his fault. Um, but yeah, it is like yeah, like the fact that it's like it slept for 2 billion years and then woke up right now is like there's no way that's a coincidence. Like it's something to do with us being here, right? Like,
mm,
and the fact that he seems to be the only one really thinking about that is like bonkers.
mm. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I agree.
Um, Yeah. Speaking of bonkers, chapter 17, Basia is
Mm.
sitting in on a meeting with I guess, the new landing cell, let's call them. Um,
Yes.
and basically they're discussing how they defeat RCE and Holden and the concept of capitalism. Um, basically their thinking is if they just like escalate the violence more, everyone
Mm.
else will stop
Will
escalating
be
the violence back.
yeah. And
Um,
even if they do, they'll totally be on everyone will totally be on our side.
yeah.
Crazy.
It's a brilliant strategy. No notes.
Yeah. No, I love that she's like, when we kill them, they're just going to give up. And when they kill us, everyone's going to be like, yeah, good job. You guys are morally correct. It's like it's so just obviously insane.
I think like as well. What's really like an extra layer of stupid about is like Kate, who's kind of taken over for Coop as being our lead
Yeah.
troublemaker. Kate is like she's like, oh, we just need to make it so that it's too expensive to occupy us, and then they'll stop. Like, and that's what always worked for us in the OPA. And it's just like, yeah, but like this isn't some rinky dink space station or whatever the fuck. Like, like this is a giant planet made out of lithium or some shit. Like,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
also you're setting the precedent for what happens on 1300 worlds. Like,
Yeah. They're not just going to give up,
yeah,
obviously.
it feels like it should take 2 seconds of thought to be like, hey, we're not playing by the exact same rule book as we were on like a scattered space station
Mm.
on the outskirts of our little solar system. Like this is obviously there's going to be critical. But yeah, um, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it immediately made me think of we had that thing 2 chapters ago where like the captain was talking to Havelock and he was like, hey, like just remember we do have to go back to the solar system and deal with like the people there.
Yeah.
Um, and it kind of feels like this is what we're seeing Basia almost go through with this group. It's like both groups, they're not forgetting the solar system because they're constantly harkening back to it, but it's almost like both like they've totally lost perspective on it. Like the distance between Illis or New Terra and the solar system has kind of infected the brains of all these people involved because they're like
Yes.
treating it as if
As if
there
it's
won't be consequences.
uncrossable. Yeah. But it's shrinking, right? Like, I think that distance is going to keep shrinking with other
Yeah,
people setting up other stations everywhere, and the Nauvoo, or I can't even remember what they've called it now, like being
Medina.
the Medina being the center point. Like there's going to be more and more people out here, and it's going to get more and more crowded, and you're not just going to be that one group of guys that are so far away from everyone else.
Yeah, but it's almost like the distance has caused the powers of the solar system to be so abstracted in their brain that they're treating them as like these NPC entities that just have really simple, basic, inhuman reactions to stuff. Like, oh, if we do this, Earth does this, or yeah, the distance has caused them to just like forget that they're people over there, which is like an ironic thing to forget. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's just, yeah, like humans. I guess humans already do kind of a bad job of expanding into nations on this one planet, and then we've seen like planets and but now we're talking like entire solar system. I just think like the human brain is incapable of properly abstracting a political understanding in a lot of cases of just an entire other solar system. It's like when they're that far away. I imagine this is a lot of what we saw back in the days of like the age of exploration, where Europe was like conquering the whole world. Um, is like when you get all the way to fucking the middle of the USA or something, it's a bit like you just can't make yourself give a shit about the powers in Europe anymore.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna react based on that because when the USA had their big tantrum and kicked the UK out.
Is that what we'd call it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You're loyal to the motherland, huh?
God bless the king.
Yeah.
No, but like when that happened, it was obviously like the UK still had power there. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a war. It would have just been a like we changed our minds. But when you're all the way over there, it's hard to like I guess see yourself as part of the same group. And I guess that's what we're having here, where like both these sides are like treating the Earth as just like, oh, if we just consolidate our power, they'll just leave us alone because we're over here now. And it's just like it's so naive that both sides are kind of thinking like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think I think that RCE feels this link to the Earth government, right? And I don't think they're going to get away from that. But the townies are slipping further and further away from being kind of belters or OPA in my mind. Like,
yeah,
and I think that will continue pretty quickly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
like even I mean these guys are less like they're not communicating with Fred. They're not like technically OPA. They're just like kind of counting on him to pick them over the Earth Corporation because they know Fred doesn't want Earth getting jurisdiction of all the planets. But they're hardly allied with Fred. They're more just like willing to use what they know of his political leaning.
Yeah.
Whereas RCA is very much on board with the way Earth politically.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to Basia, he rage quits this meeting. He's like, "You guys are fucking psycho. Like, we have a chance to de-escalate here. This is the opposite of what we should do." He storms out. He goes and sees Lucia, and he's like, "Hey, I might have fucked up. I'm just gonna go tell Holden everything." And she's like, "Thank God, I knew like my love was still in there." And yeah, so he goes to Holden, and he's like, "Hey, they're all planning on killing you." And Holden's like, "That's bad." But kind of moot because I'm ordering an evacuation. This planet fucking sucks. We're all going home.
Yeah. And no one's going to listen to that. We'll get to that soon.
I do it. He has this great line where Holden's like, "There's something very bad happening on this planet, and it has nothing to do with obstinate belters or sociopathic corporate security."
Yeah.
And I love this quote for just like, Holden, you still haven't realized what book series you're in, huh? Like the point of this book series is it doesn't matter how bad the alien threat's gonna get, humans are gonna be petty squabbling.
Yeah. Hey. But yeah, Basia's he's firmly on the side of Team Good now, which is nice. And I kind of feel like I felt like before we saw how the rest of these chapters go, he was pretty close to confessing his actual involvement in some of the past crimes too, but things don't really go that way.
Yeah. No, I guess we'll talk about that more. But I almost find like more interesting than Basia's like burgeoning redemption or whatever we want to call it is like Lucia's response to all of it. Like, so to jump ahead a little bit, she basically, well, he's like, "I'm gonna go dob on these people to Holden," and she's like, "Oh my god, like I knew you were still in there," and like gives him a big hug. And then we see next chapter as he's getting sent up, like she's fucking still ride or die this dude.
Yes.
And this fascinates me because I do not, I struggle to comprehend how she is like that. I mean, they're married and have
so
kids.
Loyal. Yeah.
Yeah, like I guess he did some mass murders, and I mean, one of them was on accident, and one of them he was a bit of a passenger. But like,
yes,
he did just spend like a lot of the previous like few weeks or whatever, just digging his heels in about it. And I'm surprised that like the second he sort of turns her around, she's like, "Oh, all is forgiven," and is back to like, you know, he's basically like in the next chapter, he's sort of like, "Oh, if I can't come back, like, and you need to find someone else," and she's like, "No, no, no, you just come back," and it's sort of like, yeah, I don't know, that kind of ride or die monogamy is like as someone who considers themselves fairly monogamous, I'm still like, wow, that's some loyalty that I don't really understand what he's done to deserve.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. No, I kind of agree. But we have only known the Basia of
Yeah, that's a good
having
point.
just lost a child and still being kind of in this fog, right? Like this is him finally kind of coming out of it. And he starts to be kind of more chill and cool and like, I don't know. I could possibly see
Yeah.
it if he keeps being cool. So we'll see.
No, I mean you're right. Actually, Felsia's like talking about going to uni and stuff. So these guys have been together for like a long time. So even if it's a bad blip of a few weeks, it's still only a few weeks, and she's got like 20 years of being together to sort of have formed. Yeah. Okay.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, let's jump into chapter 18, our Holden chapter for the week. This is basically Holden. He goes up to Mercury and he's like, "Hey, two things. First of all, a bunch of people are about to try and kill you, but more importantly, we're going home. Ordering an evacuation. Because remember, I'm in charge. And so we're all going to evacuate." And Mercury's like, "Yep. Sort of. I already knew about the whole murder cell thing, and I'm going to go first," and basically just orders the murder of the entire group
Well,
of conspirators.
does he? Does he, Elliot, is the question. Because I want to talk about this as well. I mean,
yes.
Because we're told, and I think we can believe them at this point, that Mercury's order is really actually asking the RCE goons who surround the house to start to arrest / ask them to surrender, right? Like, and they refuse and shoot, and the RCE goons return fire, and then in that fire, a literal fire starts, possibly from explosives. And like, I'm thinking through this, and I'm like, do I believe that that's true or not? And I think I do. I kind of, from what I know of Mercury, he's like, the vibe is he's desperately looking for justification to strike, but he is finding those justifications. You know what I mean? He's not making them up.
No, that's well said. Like he'll yeah, like he doesn't force them, but like he might provoke them a bit or whatever. But he's more just like waiting for those opportunities to be justified.
Yes, and then taking full advantage of them.
Yes.
So I'm kind of like, wait, because like, okay, picture a show like, and I'm sorry, but this is the one that came to mind. You know, The Rookie? You know that Nathan Fillion show, The Rookie?
Yeah.
I've never watched it. But I'm going to speak about what I suspect it's like.
Okay.
I could picture a scene, right? Nathan Fillion, he pulls up to a house. He's got to investigate a suspect or whatever. He walks up, he knocks on the door. You know, he's talking to his partner. Shotgun blast goes through the door. He ducks. He falls back. They start shooting. Whatever. It turns into a firefight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Fillion's the hero in that show, I assume. Again, I haven't watched it. But that's the exact kind of same situation with a bit more maybe premeditation that happens here. And I'm just kind of like, if we were following, if one of the POV characters was, I don't know, Way or whoever, right? Like, they could present this as heroic, and we'd be like, oh, that's kind of a gray area, but I guess we're on board. I mean, you know, fucking Miller has done basically this exact same thing, and that was the reaction we had, right? Like, and it's so interesting to me, assuming that they're not lying about these justifications or like intentionally starting these fires or whatever, like. They did try and arrest them first and then returned fire. And that to me is like, it makes a difference. It makes a difference, right?
I think there's also, like there's an undeniable angle to this of like, okay, so even if they didn't necessarily, or like, okay, because I guess I'm picturing that like their version of like giving them a chance was basically pointing guns and being like, "Come out, or we'll kill you within 5 seconds." I guess I just, even if they come and ask really nicely, I think given what we know about Kate and friends, there was almost no way to approach this that wouldn't have ended up with some bullets going.
It's the same thing with Coop last week. You're like,
yeah,
whoa, what the hell? And then you stop and you're like, well, no, actually, that probably is how it was always going to go. But
yeah, like that.
Yeah. It's been making me reflect on how much of our like perception of morality really is built off of like vibes, because Mercury has the vibes of such a villain. He's like smug, but his actions are really kind of the same as what Miller or whoever have done. It's just not from his perspective. We're just not in his perspective.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
I did want Holden to just shoot him though after he gives his order. Like I don't know. Maybe that's a bit crazy, but I kind of wanted it to happen.
No. Again, that's the exact same fucking logic as with Coop. It's just like, man, if Mercury was no longer in the picture, like Holden could just be the fucking voice of reason mediator and really just like make shit go smoothly.
Yeah.
No. 100%. Like that bit where Holden actually like starts threatening to shoot him, and Mercury almost like I think there's like the one bit where it's like Mercury looks surprised for like the first time, or it's like the first time he may have been like, oh, did I miscalculate?
But he didn't. Which is that's the other thing about Mercury. He's very, very competent.
Yeah. I want to talk about this because Mercury's like, I'm going to call it a villain speech here to Holden, even though I think the points you're making are kind of like good arguments, but it just reads like such a villain speech.
Yes, like, exactly. He's got the vibes of a villain, 100%. And the book is like kind of presenting him as a villain. And that's kind of why I'm pushing back a bit, because anytime something's being presented to me that explicitly, I just want to dig into it. But like, yeah, sorry, I'll let you finish your point and then I'll say the other thing I want to about this.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, like all of his villain speech here is just, it's top tier villain. I almost want to push back on your pushback just because I'm like, no, I'm fucking loving him as a villain so far. Don't take this away from like, like the way he calls out Holden, where he's just like, sorry, but like you're famous enough that I know you're not just gonna kill people in cold blood. Like he's like, you keep mentioning you got a warship up there, but like you, James fucking Holden, what are you gonna do? Like nuke us? Like no, you're not. Like if it was Amos, sure, he might do that. He seems like a psycho. But you're calling the shots, and I just don't believe that. And like he's saying it, and like, oh fuck, that's like a good point. And then like there's a bit where he just starts going, he's like, listen, I understand you want to evacuate. Like Eros must have been really traumatic for you, so I'm willing to forgive this little outburst that you're having. And it's just, like it's so
smug and like
yeah. And it's like it's such a like bastardization of like polite woke therapy speak. Like it's just like he so obviously is being a cunt about it, but like he's doing it in such a way that it's really hard to call that out. And that's such good villain work. Is like
yes.
It's just the audacity to be like, oh, I understand Eros was probably really traumatizing me. It's like that's such a shit thing to say, but also like this is that whole thing you were saying with Mercury. Like he doesn't kind of start these fights, but he just has all his pieces in a row, so he can absolutely be violent as fuck when he gets the opportunity. And that's like kind of what he's doing. Even like the way he just needles Holden, he's doing in such a way where he's never quite crossing the line, but like God, he's up there jacking off over it, you know, like
yeah, totally.
Also, and he specifically quotes Don Quixote and like the tilting at windmills, and like he's like, yeah, your ship's named great, and like Holden looks annoyed and he's like, yeah, I've read a book, like yeah. I mean, so this goes on. I'm jumping ahead and I'm taking up too much time, but like the bit later where like at the end of this chapter where like Way's like he help the enemy, and like Mercury gets to come out and be like, no, like you know, like he's being reasonable, and so I'm being reasonable, and like
exactly.
Like, it's just like it's so funny because you can tell like he's getting, you know what it is? It's like Miller wasn't getting anywhere near this much enjoyment out of doing a bunch of murders, except maybe that one that got him kicked off Holden's ship. But like Mercury Murtry's fucking loving this, and I think like that's the thing that kind of makes him seem more like evil or whatever. But it's also what makes him so much more fucking fun.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the one other thing I want to say about this is like it's really interesting to me how clearly the book is presenting it to make Murtry the villain. You know what I mean? Like,
sure,
we get the scene where Holden's in that kind of chat in the office. Murtry picks up the walkie and he says, "All right, do it," or whatever. And we don't really know what's going to happen, and we're like, "Oh shit, he's just given the order to execute some people." And then Holden runs out, and when Holden arrives, that's what's happening, right? They are killing people, but we don't see actually what the order is, and we learn after the fact, assuming that that's true, they asked to arrest them, got shot at, and then returned fire. And the fact that we didn't see that, we just come when they're shooting and killing them, it's such a interesting thing for us to miss because of Holden's travel time to get there. It's so like fascinating, the presentation of this and of Murtry, so that we see it almost in the worst possible light. I just think that's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, no, I think you're right that like I think this is kind of what's so compelling about this whole Illis New Terra conflict is there's so much fucking mess on both sides. It's so hard to kind of point out anyone being a villain or a goodie, even if they're the ones escalating, because like what else are you meant to do? So yeah.
Yes.
So like even if all this stuff is happening and it's like yeah, Murtry's doing bad stuff, but it's like you're right, a few key details can really just change
they were
your
planning
read.
an execution, you know, like it's it wasn't
like they were in there literally
but yeah.
Well, it wasn't even that preemptive because they were in there like I mean I guess it's
right?
preemptive, like when you've got like a bug in their room, so you're listening to them literally plot to murder you.
Yes.
I
Is it preemptive?
I feel like
exactly.
Yeah, that's not what that is what that murder technically means, but like the emotions behind it no longer. So yeah, it's fascinating. But yeah, I mean the Belters are all killed. Murtry does save Holden from joining them, and it's very funny. And he basically Murtry mediates Holden into taking Basia into custody because he tries to arrest Basia, and instead Holden will take him aboard the Rocinante.
Yeah.
But yeah, at this point, I'm kind of assuming the only person in town who still thinks Holden is in charge of anything is Elvi.
She's just got those the rose-colored glasses or whatever on about him. She's not thinking straight about Holden.
I mean, she's thinking very straight about Holden.
Sure.
But yeah, I want to call it this one as well. So basically, yeah, like as you sort of talked about, like Holden kind of runs up and gets involved in this firefight. Not really. He ends up in the middle, and there's a great quote where he's like, basically, Holden found himself between two different firing lines. Again, some distant and still calm part of his brain thought, marveling at how often this sort of thing seemed to happen. And I mean, like, this is obviously a very funny because you're like, yeah, Holden does end up between two other sides trying to kill each other a lot. Although I will say, if people were trying to kill him more actively, I don't think he'd still be alive. I think the only reason he's still alive is because he's often just in the middle, not the actual target.
Yes, both sides, I think, still see that he can be useful to them.
Yeah, but like, I guess I'm just thinking like throughout the series as a whole, like the amount of times where he's kind of ended up just between the two sides actually shooting each other, kind of being the lone wolf. Like it's the only reason he's surviving because he's not actually the one people are there to kill. But it's also, I mean, I guess it's what makes him a good mediator, right? Like he's never on one of the sides shooting. He's always just standing between them. Like that's where the mediator's meant to be, kind of.
Yeah.
So he was the perfect man for the job.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, again, just a really funny like little quote where the Expanse is just really like laying it on thick what the themes of the story are. Where basically Naomi's like, you should come back up on the Rocinante too. And he's like, if it escalates anymore, I might. And she's like, are you talking about the aliens or the people? And Holden's like, yep. Like, right? Like, yeah, both. that it's just fun. Like I love I love self-aware humor like this in a book series like this. It's great.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Before we move on though, I was gonna say, and I know like any sort of realistic thinking is going to tell you that it was never going to happen or whatever, but like part of me is still a little annoyed for Basia that he's not getting any points with Mercury for being a turncoat. Like they would already, and yeah, like I mean, it's so fair and all that. I like especially knowing Mercury, he wasn't going to get any points, and he still did a lot of bad stuff. But also, like, if someone's in the middle of like betraying their team to help you, like, give him some slack, you know? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. You know, we talked about how Mercury's whole deal was he was just looking for justifications to kill townies, kind of. So once that justification arrived, he was never going to let it go. But I agree. It counts.
Yeah,
it counts to me, Bars.
Yeah, like it's that thing where it's like knowing enough about Mercury, like it was obviously never going to count for anything, but it's just like this is, I guess, the Holden in me who wants there to be that like justice system that's good. Is like, but he deserves some points for like like trying to turn just a little bit early enough to make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's jump back into Havelock's head. So he's upstairs in orbit. He's training his militia, and it's going like pretty well, honestly. Like, I think the big lesson he teaches his team in the first half of this chapter is the real danger is in the doors and corners. You got to watch out for the doors and corners. That's where they get you.
Who has he been talking to?
I mean, this is very like it's just funny. Like they sneak that doors and corners line in there, and it's just like the fucking monkey pointing meme. I'm just like, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, this was taught on the whatever Eros Star Helix training day. Clearly,
like honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that like Miller was the one who taught. If it like Miller might have been the one to teach that to Havelock.
Yeah,
like doors and corners, but
or vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, true, but like given their dynamic, I just assume it
yes.
was Miller.
No, I agree. Miller, it feels more Miller than it does Havelock.
It's also like Miller wasn't when they were together. Miller wasn't the learning sort. He was very much an old dog. But yeah, I really love. We get basically like this moment where as like Havelock's trying to explain. I don't know, like the setup that, or like how to approach these sorts of situations. All the engineers, of course, are like, oh, maybe there's some sort of algorithm we can devise to like discern our behavior and blah blah blah. And like Havelock is just kind of contentedly like sitting there, just like amused at like, oh, like baby's first violence. Like they're trying to approach it like an algorithm. This is like so cute. And like it's just funny because it does feel very real. Like, I mean, you know, if these guys have been trained to be engineers and scientists for like 20 years, they're just programmed to think a certain way because of their job. And like, you see people do this all the time when they start something new, is they like bring the way of thinking of their special field into it. So it's like, it's very human, but I just really enjoy Havelock just sort of like, I don't know, the like paternal way he just sits back and just kind of enjoys watching them like, I don't know, be funny little engineers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's kind of cute, and it almost makes you forget that they're training up a bunch of racist engineers to kill buildings. It almost makes you forget, doesn't it? But no, these are like, and this is like the flip side of like, I kind of, this is the flip side of the bits of Mercury that I like or think could be morally right when he's on the complex and kind of dangerous world of New Terra. But up here, they're making evil bureaucratic decisions, right? Like compromising on the training regimes of the people they're going to give guns is the kind of evil bureaucratic decision that leads to avoidable murders. And that's the real problem with corporations like RCE, right? Is they make evil bureaucratic decisions.
Yeah. No, like I mean, I guess you're right. Like, because we have that bit actually. We should call it out. But when Havelock in the first chapter this week is giving that report to Mercury, one of the things Murtry is constantly saying, he's like, "Oh, hopefully we won't need it, but I just want it as like a just in case." And then eventually he
Yes,
sort of brings up
exactly.
the militia, and Havelock's Murtry's like, "Just make sure they're ready." And
Yeah.
Havelock's like, "Oh, just in case, right?" And Murtry's like, "Yeah, totally."
Yeah, just in case. Yeah.
And it's like that the one little mistake he makes where it's like, no, okay, like he's hoping things get that far. But like
Yeah.
he's keeping the plausible deniability.
Yeah.
And that's yeah, like I guess down on New Terror at the moment, like he's really walking that line, but like up here he's basically like priming the powder keg, and it's like a little bit less ambiguous up here that he's like stirring the pot.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, anyway, enough bitchy about Murtry. Let's talk about Havelock. So basically, the next thing that happens is Havelock is dealing with a complaint from a Belter scientist who's being harassed on the ship. And basically this Belter kind of just brings up that there may be racial undertones. Not actually, no, not undertones.
No.
Racial tones. To this harassment, and Havelock has to basically stop him from being like a problem. Wait, stop making a problem out of this harassment. Like
Yeah.
seriously, like why are you doing this? It's Anyway,
This is Havelock's low point in the book so far to me, because him saying to this person's face, and kind of crazily, like seemingly believing it himself, at least to start with, he seems to fully believe that this Belter is kind of just making a mountain out of a molehill after he's just come from his "let's kill Belters, rah rah rah" paramilitary group. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, Havelock? What do you mean?
Yeah. It's like he's literally. We skipped over it, but at the end of the last chapter as well, they design a logo for their little military, which is like a
Yes.
caricature of a squat Earther. Like it's basically like they've characterized themselves as like anti-Belter in their little military insignia, and yet the audacity to have this guy come in, he's like, "Well, let's not make this a race thing." Like,
Yeah.
it's bonkers.
It's crazy to me because he's not. It's not like he's just trying to reassure him so that it doesn't blow up or whatever. He seems to believe the nonsense that he's just thought. I don't understand. It's crazy.
Yeah. But like, look, we should call out that. So, yes, basically, Havelock spends 99% of this interaction being like an absolute piece of dog shit to this guy.
Yes.
Like, there's the bit where the guy's like, "Are you going to call it out for what it is, or are you just going to say it's pranks?" And Havelock just sort of is like, "Oh man, you know the answer to that."
Yeah. It's just a prank. It's just for the YouTube video.
Yeah. But Havelock starts typing the email, and something the guy said finally gets through.
Yeah.
Because it's worth pointing out, he spent a good solid chunk of this chapter like bemoaning how shit all the Belters treated him on series specifically.
Yes.
And he's just like, "Oh, like Belters are always treating me like shit," and blah blah blah. And then this guy's like, "What if you were the only Earther?" And it takes a lot of typing, but something finally clicks. The empathetic, self-governing part of Havelock, way deep down there, finally wakes up, and like he does. He kind of turns around and calls it what it is. He's like, "Hey, stop fucking going against people just because of accidents of physiology and where they were born." And I mean, it's it's a start.
Yeah, it's a start. We got Basia. I mean, Basia takes a bit more of an active step. Havelock's only starting to dip his toe into the water a bit.
Yes,
but it's a start.
Yes. Yeah. And it's a turnaround. Like definitely for 80% of this chapter, you're like, Havelock, you're a horrible fucking person. And then right at the end, he just like it's like he's been digging himself down, and then like right at the end, he just sort of puts the shovel down and goes, maybe I could stop digging for like 5 seconds. It's like, okay, there's hope.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it goes further. I don't know. Hopefully.
Yeah. I also want to call out. Sorry, this part just made me a little bit angry. One of the many times he's bitching to himself about Siri Station throughout the chapter. One of the things he thinks is like, when he'd worked for Star Helix on Siri Station for the better part of a year, he was always getting the worst cases and the worst partner.
So rude,
and like,
poor Miller.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's textually because that was like literally a whole plot point for Miller's character arc was him realizing that he was the shit partner they saddled Havelock with because he was from Earth. So like, it's obviously accurate, but still, I was like, part of me's like, you're like Miller's only friend. You're not allowed to think that about him.
Yeah, I know.
He's now some sort of tortured zombie man or whatever, and
yeah, you're lucky Miller's not around to hear this. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of objectively true that he got stuck with Miller because Miller was a shit partner, but like also I'm like, he was your friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Why? He was like the one guy that was nice to you, man. Anyway.
But yeah. Anyway, chapter 20. We're back with Elvi. And she's getting updates from the team back home on like what they want her to do and focus on and all that. But she just keeps getting distracted by like, I don't know, the events going on this planet. Like she's letting her emotions and like context get in the way of her scientific purity. But she does decide to write a letter of recommendation for Felsia, so that's nice.
Yeah, it's well, does she? I mean, she deletes it. She deletes it from her task list, waits, and then re-adds it. We don't actually see her do it. She's taken one small step towards doing it.
Yeah. I mean, she told herself she'd try and do it. So that, I think that's all that is meant to represent. But yeah,
yeah, fair.
It's something. I mean, like just in general, like what you're saying earlier about Elvi unraveling. There's sort of a bit of that here where she's like, thinks to herself, protocol dictates that like I should immediately send back a message to the scientists at home, like saying I Roger, and all that shit.
Yeah,
but she just kind of decides not to. And yeah, like I guess I think because we saw this like really, I guess trying to think about like what you were saying earlier about like what the point of Elvi is in the book or whatever. Like the thing I'm noticing in this unraveling is she came here sort of wanting to be very scientifically pure and like not let human shit get in the way of the science or whatever, and that seems to be cracking, especially regarding intimate relationships. But I don't know, I guess she spent so much of the early part of this book like bemoaning the way everybody else wasn't being scientifically rigorous enough, and now she's starting to be the problem that she sees in the world.
Yeah, I think that'll be a fun thing to see. Well, I'm still pretty curious to see where Elvi's arc is going, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But anyway, she does basically go to the commissary because she wants to try and talk to Holden about something very serious. She's not just looking for excuses to talk to him.
No, of course not.
And anyway, he's not there, so she ends up having to sit with Fires and Lucia, because basically Fires seems to be the only person on the RCE side who's even remotely interested in like mending the divide and getting closer to these people.
Yeah, I think we alluded to this earlier in the episode, talking about Fires being actually like chill and the only person other than a few of our POVs, really just Holden, but I guess the other ones are doing a little bit. The only person other than our POVs who are trying to like bridge the divide rather than widen it. But again, it's like death flags being thrown off all over the place here, man. If Fires makes it out of this book alive, I'm going to be very surprised.
No, I mean, you're like, I guess I had never picked up on that, but yeah, that's such a good point.
Yeah. So I think, Oh, sorry.
You go.
Well, I was going to say the other thing that's interesting to think about here is like Lucia's role in all of this, right? Because that's the other thing that we get in this part of this chapter is Faze is talking to Lucia. Elvi's coming in and is very, very awkward about Lucia because obviously it's been revealed now that Baz was involved with the murders. And it made me reflect on Lucia's morality and what we think about it, because she knew all along what was going on, more or less. Not everyone that was involved, I guess, but she knew Baz was involved. She kind of was waiting and hoping for him to break good again, which he did, but she kind of could have taken a more active step. I don't think I would have, in her position, turned in my husband and his friends, but I don't know. It is interesting to think about, like, the lines of allegiance were never even in question there, were they?
Yeah. No, and I guess it sows an interesting seed of distrust in like the Elvis and other like kind of good RCE people, because Lucia was simultaneously like the face of like the good side of the townies. In like she was the doctor who came and helped them. She was doing all like she
exactly.
it was like she was the one who it seemed like was trying to mend the divide.
Yeah, but she still was knowingly letting people get away with the murders, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Like, yeah, I think Elvi's complicated reaction to this is fair, because it is like it like, you know, Lucia has been trying to be a good person and a friend or whatever, while simultaneously like keeping a pretty horrible secret.
Yeah, a secret. You know, she was keeping secret. Like earlier in this chapter, before Baz confesses everything to Holden, he tells her, "Oh, they're planning another murder. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stop it. Whatever, right? Like, that's the vibe." So she knew about things that were going to happen too, not just things that had happened.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah. You know what? It's worth pointing out. Actually, I was talking about like Lucia being so right or die before, but it's also, she probably knows Baz well enough to know that like he didn't plan on it being murders. Like
Yes.
it was his stupid, like, you know, like she thought he was going there to blow up a landing pad or whatever, and it was like, okay, he's an idiot or whatever, but that's forgivable. And then he did a bunch of murders, and it's like, so she's extra pissed off because it's like, look what your stupidity wrought.
Yes.
But yeah. Anyway, speaking of, let's check in with Basia again.
Yeah, let's get into 21. His brain. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, he's basically waiting to be picked up by the Rocinante because he's going up there to be held prisoner. And that's what happens. He you know, meets Naomi and Alex, and they're pretty welcoming, but like it's taking Basia a bit to kind of settle down and not feel like a third wheel prisoner.
Yeah. Yeah. Naomi yells at him for doing his scared mouse routine or whatever she calls it, which I thought was fun.
Yeah. But there's also a bit later where he kind of has to like, he's sort of like, do you guys want me to leave? Because like you're talking in code, and like it's just funny because Alex and Naomi are a bit like, oh, so we weren't excluding on purpose. We're just like, it's so always the four of us that we forgot how to speak to like people. But I really like that, like Basia, as he's sitting here waiting for the Rocinante to pick him up, he's like, oh, like my life has just become a pawn in a political game between Holden and Mercury and like blah blah. And I just thought that was funny because that like that's exactly what he was trying to stop happening, really, to like his family, is all this stuff with like the reaction to Katoa was really, he didn't want corporations or other people's bullshit decisions impacting the life of his child. And now he's just kind of put himself in the position where now it's happening to him instead, which honestly, like, I guess
it's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a win. Like I mean, the kind of half of the job of parenting really is like taking the shit that you're trying to protect your kids from. So like, it's not a loss. It's just a funny like result.
Yeah. Yeah. It's probably the best possible result for Baz, given what's gone down so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like I mean, like I love the way the redemption arc or whatever is continuing. Like Naomi's like, hey, so you know, just are you a bad person? And like he just kind of doesn't know how to answer, so he just clearly pauses for like a minute. And Naomi's like, yeah, mood.
Yep.
Which is fucking wild thing for her to say because she seems to be fucking perfect. But like it is just that thing where it's sort of like, if like she asks if he's a bad person. He's like, I like when he can't answer. It's like, okay, so the answer's kind of yes, but like you regret it, and that's good enough.
Yeah, and that's earned that's enough for Naomi to trust him more, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. Um yeah. Yeah, in such a morally grey situation, any bits of moral certainty are like a bad sign. So being seeming tortured is a good sign by
yeah,
the
exactly.
inversion.
Good point. Yeah.
But yeah, no, but the real win for the crew members here is Basia's a space welder.
I do love how both of them are like, oh, welder, hello,
Welder, a welder.
oh, oh, you know, we don't restrict you, but we do prison labor, so get to it.
Yeah, he's earning his keep.
I mean, hey, look, that was like, remember, Abaddon's Gate ended with that beautiful moment of Melba getting to do some welding with Amos, and it was like she was healing her something she broke, and that was like a real profound moment. So like maybe the Rocinante crew is just really addicted to profound welding moments with their prisoners.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, anyway, basically, this is the point we were talking about a little bit before. But Naomi and Alex have very quickly realized what Havelock has done to this
to the
shuttle on the Edward Israel.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of ways they could tackle it, but they ultimately decide that the best approach is to sneak on, disarm it without anyone noticing, and then sneak back off and basically make it a dud weapon without anyone knowing. Yeah, I mean, look, I know hindsight's 2020, and we're still going to get to how this doesn't work in like a chapter, but
yeah,
I feel like they just keep a scope on it, and the second it does fucking anything,
blast
shoot it.
Yeah, I had the same thought, and then I was like, you never know really what's going to happen, right? Like,
Yeah,
for all we know, when this shuttle becomes relevant, they might be fleeing from 2 billion-year-old alien weapons or whatever, and suddenly guns don't work or whatever. Like, you really don't know. And so I'm kind of like, well, then just blast it now. But then the other thing is, well, okay, but in that circumstance, what if a bomb on a shuttle is exactly what you need to deal with the aliens? So I think they find a good middle ground. Put some kind of, disable it or prep it to be disabled so that they can deal with it in a more reliable way, but they don't have to do anything too dramatic. It's a good middle ground, I think. Or it theoretically is until we see how it ends up going.
Obviously doesn't work, but yeah, no, I mean that's fair, because I guess the other thing is they want to start pointing their scopes down to all the alien shit turning alive on the ground, not
exactly.
Alex specifically calls out, like, do I point our thingy downstairs or keep it at the shuttle? And Naomi's like, the shuttle, and I guess they'd have to worry about that less if they have an off switch.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, basically, there's this bit where Bar's just like, wait, why are you doing something? Like, isn't this technically provoking RCE? Like, you're meant to be the mediators. Like, isn't this like against the laws of mediation or whatever? And Naomi basically turns to him. She's like, no. Choosing to stand by while people kill each other is also an action, and we don't do that here.
Yeah. Which is a real hero line.
Yeah, it's really just like I know Holden's kind of the main character, but Naomi's the fucking hero of this series, and that has just been so true for 4 books now. Yeah.
Yeah. Although, Naomi has been able to stay kind of morally clean by being disconnected from the pretty grey things happening on the planet, right? Like, if Naomi was in the room where Mercury gave the order for the arrest / death of the conspirators, what would she have done? Would she have plugged him? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think. Have we ever seen Naomi
kill
like
anyone?
or even be in a gunfight?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, other than like, when they're escaping onto the Rossi from the whatever that Martian warship was called, things like that. Like,
but none of them were in that firefight. They were all fucking civilian casualties.
Active combat. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I don't think so.
No, because like even I'm thinking the ones on Ganymede and Caliban's War. I'm pretty sure she was like back at base or something.
Is she there in the one where when they're going to the hotel where Julie Mao died, and then like
Yeah,
the security guards there, and that it turns into a firefight?
I think
Was she
she's
there
there,
for
but I
that?
don't think she. I don't think she does. Like, I don't think she
She
shoots.
shoots a gun. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but yeah. Anyway,
Hmm.
um,
Interesting.
yeah, but I mean, the point is, she's like just from her armchair, she is a very good moral hero. Um,
Mm.
and speaking of, let's get into chapter 22. We're with Havelock again.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I mean, he's so basically Havelock's just sitting on the Israel in orbit next to the Rocinante. I don't know how close these ships are. Well, they've got scopes, so they can't be that far.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's just doom scrolling. So basically, they're still plugged into like the news feeds from Seoul, um, and so he's getting a bunch of stuff. But the main one we really get here is there's like a tactical analysis group who's talking about how the big three powers in the solar system are sort of responding to what's happening on New Terra. So like you've got basically Mars is kind of siding with the OPA again, just
Mm.
like they did a couple of books ago, because it's basically they'd rather be with Earth against Earth than It's not
Mm.
about Mars and the OPA agreeing; it's about them not liking Earth.
Mm.
Which in this instance, I mean, and it was in the last one too, but it's extremely understandable because Earth is just trying to like kind of default like
Claim.
claim
Yeah.
to say, oh well, they're planets with atmosphere. We got
That's
dibs
Earth.
on
That's
those.
our thing. Yeah.
Yeah. That's in the contract.
Yeah.
Um,
It's very funny.
but no, so I don't know, just some talk, but yeah, it's like kind of interesting glimpse into the politics that is still unfolding back at Seoul.
Yeah, totally. Um, yeah, and it's nice to finally get Mars in this story. I was like, oh wait, Mars? They're still around. Yeah, no, I look forward to hearing more about that. Hey, on the topic of him doom scrolling, he puts the highlights for this football game into his like watch queue to get to later, and
Mm.
that just made me think like watch queues. Do we have watch queues nowadays? Do you have like a watch queue? Because that's not like future tech, right? That's something we could have nowadays, but we kind of don't really have. Like, I don't like see a YouTube video and I click it, and I guess there's like a watch later feature on
I was gonna
YouTube
say
or whatever.
I use Watch Later on YouTube.
Do you? Does
Yeah.
it works out for you? It's like and then you
Uh,
go and you just like watch through your queue later, or
some of them.
yeah,
Like
interesting.
look, like I'd say 10 to 20% hit ratio for actually like clearing things back off the watch later.
Yeah.
Or in terms of actually watching them every now and then, you've got to periodically go through and empty it. But
Mm.
yeah, like no, I do use it, and then occasionally there's things where I'm just like, oh, like later on when I've got more time, I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted to watch like this video that was like a 1.5 hour long YouTube essay I didn't have time for at the time.
Mm.
Um,
Okay. Interesting.
so
Yeah.
it does happen. But
I'm
yeah.
curious. I'm curious to see if in this hypothetical future, Havelock and others are actually getting through their watch queue. That's what I want to find out. I want a little line like that. I want to see
I
if that's
think
real.
if this is really a story about humans in space, the
Yeah.
answer is no.
The watch queue is hundreds of hours long. Yeah.
The watch queue, yeah, like because I mean, we're already here in the 21st century. My watch queue is growing faster than I'm watching stuff. Like
Mm.
especially now that like I have like kids in the house, but
Yeah.
like it yeah, I don't imagine that's changed. I really want to talk about, so Havelock basically has his system filtering news feeds for 4 topics.
Mm.
Number one is news about New Terra. That makes
Mm.
sense. Number two, news about James Holden. Also makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
Topic three, contract security. You got to stay on that grind set mindset. Makes
Yep.
sense.
Definitely.
And then number four is the European League football.
Yep. Makes
Which,
sense.
honestly, like what I love about this is just like this is great world building, because you're just like, yeah, of course, European Football League still a thing 300
Of
years from now.
course.
Of course,
It's the world game, Elliot.
yeah, exactly. Of course, Havelock's filtering for it. Like it's such a believably human moment that this fucking corporate security goon a solar system over is still like, yeah, but like how's the European soccer doing?
Mm.
Um Like it's great, like reverse sci-fi world building, because like this isn't a crazy sci-fi thing. It's like such a human thing that's like, yeah, space isn't going to stop a dude from following the football though. Like it's perfect. I like, I like, even he like looks at the results of a game and it's like two teams that exist today. Like it's like like Spain won an upset game, and it's like that, they did that shit last week. They're still doing it 300 years in the future. Like it's great. Like
I like that too.
Yeah, like
it felt
it's
very
just
funny that we're just coming off of World Cup fever, and this is dropped into the story.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I don't know. I just love this as a like, yeah, like there's something so fun about sci-fi world building that's just like, but they're just like us.
Yeah, definitely. I found that very cute.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess Havelock's back on militia training duty. And they're basically drilling, breaching into ships from the outside, it seems like. So they're all out on the outside of the Edward Israel, hanging out. And, I guess it goes pretty well. Like,
yeah.
Not much to say about the exercise itself. It seems pretty
the training
by the book.
Exercise itself seems pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Although I did like they talked about the idea of you could have a panic attack, here's what you do. You could have a euphoria attack, that's even worse. And I was just like, oh, that's fun. What the fuck's that? Yeah. I can't wait to see more of that.
Have I told you about like what happened? Like I had something similar with one of the scuba diving courses I did.
You had a euphoria attack, or they just told you what to do if you have one?
No, well, so I did the one, basically you can get like an extra qualification. It's like the easiest one to get, where they let you have like high oxygen, like air. So because like the air in the default scuba tanks is basically like straight atmosphere, so it's mostly nitrogen and stuff. But you can get the ones that have a higher rate of oxygen. But you have to like learn all this stuff about it, and because basically if you go too deep with high rates of oxygen, you get like oxygen overdose poisoning. And basically, so I'm in this course doing it, and they're sort of like, okay, so what's going to happen if you get like oxygen poisoning? Is what you're going to find that you can't like stop doing things. So like the example they give is if you're like kicking your legs and swimming along and you try to stop, like if you've got the oxygen poisoning, your brain just kind of like doesn't manage to get that signal through, and so you'll just like keep kicking even though you want to stop.
Yeah.
And they're like, so obviously if you notice this is happening, it's really bad, and what you need to do is just stop.
Yeah.
And I was like, so but you just said I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like
not very helpful.
Like, yeah, but they're like, yeah, you gotta like, like stop what you're doing and like start ascending and like call for help and stuff. And so, but you just told me that's the one thing that I won't be able to do because of the symptoms.
You'll push through, Elliot. You'll figure it out,
like,
I'm sure.
It's like the scuba diving equivalent of like, just think happy thoughts and you won't be depressed. Like I was like, this is such unhelpful advice.
I think it's because you take things very literally. I don't think it means you'll become a machine that can literally never turn off.
I know, but like then phrase it better.
Phrase it better. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah, I guess on kind of similar lines, I want to call it like, so Havelock has this thought where basically he's orienting rooms to be up all the time. And one of the things he thinks to himself is like, human brains just need an answer. Even if they have to make up something they knew was bullshit. And he's specifically thinking this in the context of like, humans will always decide one way is up. But we've had Belter POVs in this series, and I feel like they've pretty explicitly not been as attached to the idea of up. Like Miller was, but that was because Miller was like a I don't know, a series belter. Like he didn't live in null G, he lived in like low G.
Yeah.
Like conceptually he was closer to a Martian. But like anyway, I guess this is one of those things where I'm like, I actually think this quote is telling us more about Havelock than it is about belters. Havelock says it's like, oh, human brains need this or whatever, and it's like I don't actually think that's true. I think that's true about you. This isn't a human-wide thing. This is about Havelock, not humanity.
He's just revealing a bit too much of his own state, isn't he?
Yeah. And then I see that you wanted to pull out this quote as well.
Yeah, I went to pull it out and I was like, oh, Elliot's already pulled it out. Yep.
Because it's so good. But basically, they go out of the ship for the first time, and Havelock thinks his strike force stood around him, craning their necks in awe of the massive emptiness of all around them. He was almost sorry to he was almost sorry to pull their attention back to the small, vaguely intimate necessities of violence. It's just like, yep, that's the expanse.
Yeah.
Wow, look at all this cool space. Too bad we're just going to do petty human squabbles.
Yeah, I really loved it. It was great. Yeah, I think it's fun that. Yeah, I mean he thinks he was almost sorry. Like he was almost sorry to pull his attention back to the necessities of violence or whatever. And you're like, oh man, you're so close. Just take that final step, Havelock. You can do it. Yeah, but he doesn't. He doesn't.
But yeah. Anyway, as we said before, the training exercise just kind of goes fine. No, it's not really noteworthy. The really noteworthy part is basically as they're heading back in, Havelock and Conan, the chief engineer, are sort of chatting, and Conan's kind of bitching because he's like, "Why don't they tell me when people are going out to the shuttle?" And Havelock basically has a look, and he's like, "That's not one of ours. Some rando is just welding bits on the shuttle." So they go out there, and thanks to his overachieving engineers, they capture Naomi. Who is just cosmically unlucky in this situation. Like, so many things had to go so very wrong for her to end up captured, but that's exactly what happens.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate. And it's going to make everything so much worse, too.
Yeah.
As soon as it's happening, you're like, oh, it just like the sinking feeling is so true.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, Mercury won't use this.
Yeah, sure. I don't know how he's going to use it, but the one thing I know is he is definitely going to use it.
Yeah, 100%. It's sort of like, oh, this is going to be like, and like, especially Mercury's already proven that he's fairly good at reading Holden. There's got to be no better way to control Holden than having Naomi.
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure.
So like this is so bad. But yeah. Anyway, I guess that's where we leave humanity for now. And we jump into our one last little interlude from the investigator's perspective. So yeah, it reaches out, and it pulls back in.
Oh.
Yeah, there's like some little dead void space that the protomolecule figures out it can't touch. Anything it sends in there just ceases to exist. So it calls on an old friend, the investigator, who basically takes one look at it and says, "Yep, where I come from, we call that a clue."
Yeah, I loved this. It's like it's such a cute, interesting hint at what might have killed the original protomolecule civilization, right? Like,
yeah,
the idea of like a kind of conceptual cancer that its high technology is running into and can't quite work around, I just think is like a really interesting thing. It's very alien to the humans that are in this book, I'm sure, but will be quite interesting to play around with.
Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoy the little investigator interludes we get here because it helps contain all of the like crazy, like, because there's so much like crazy alien sci-fi mystery that I need answers to at this point in the series, but I don't want to lose the focus on the dumb human fights. So like having these interludes with the investigator to just deliver us my high concept sci-fi juices, but also in incredibly cryptic, riddly bullshit that I don't fully understand is just really fun.
Yeah, very fun.
I also like again, we're constantly getting reminded that like the protomolecule is not aware; it's an algorithm. So yeah, it's sort of the void space is kind of happening, and it's like the protomolecule does not need to be aware of the problem. It has a tool for this, a thing that finds what is missing, a tool for asking questions that shouldn't be asked, for going too far, and then it spins up a Miller. And I just love that because like this is one of those things where like it describes Miller like that, and you're like, fuck, no wonder it chose him. Like it's making more and more sense the more it's like It specifically wants a tool that like refuses to give up when it should and is like kind of a pain in everyone's asses. And it's just like, okay, no, yeah, I mean, Miller's actually a pretty good choice for that.
Yeah, he is a great choice. I think it's fun that the algorithm seems to kind of have a crush on Miller's brain. I think that's very cute.
But yeah, anyway, so that's where we leave it off.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who things are going worse for right now, except I guess the protomolecule is actually making good progress. So if anything, things are going well for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, humans not so much.
Yeah, we'll see. This week we started to see Basia and Havelock pushing against their, acceptance of the slide into fascism that they've kind of been going along with. So I look forward to hopefully seeing that continue. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the end of our episode. We had no discussion question this week because we are recording early because I'm away this weekend. But we do have a discussion question for our next episode. So that discussion question is, would you want to be a colonist on an alien world? What would you be focusing on when you get there? Obviously, the background to the townies here is they're refugees, as we talked about. But
yeah,
I think it's interesting to think about, like, why would you want to travel? What would it take for you to want to travel to a new alien world and be at the forefront of this, like, new pioneering set of discoveries? Would you take that leap? I think we asked a version of this question last time when we found out about the rings, but now that we know what's on the other side of them and it's a bit safer, have answers changed? I think will be interesting to think about, to discuss.
Yeah, and I guess like I'm kind of curious to hear. Like, I think one of the biggest aspects of this question to me is that distance. Like, it's the 18 months of travel.
Yeah, totally.
That's not something people in our brief window of time have had to deal with. Like, we exist in this weird point where you can travel the entire globe in like 24 hours if you need to. Whereas for most of history, it took a really long time to get places. And humanity's kind of reverting to that. I guess I'm curious how much that appeals to like listeners.
Yeah. I think it'll be really interesting to read some of those responses.
Yeah, so hit us up in the discussion thread with your answers to that, please, and also just your thoughts on the book. Again, I'm really enjoying those as they're coming in.
Yeah, me too. If you're enjoying the show, hey, why not leave us a review on your podcasting platform of choice? That would be very, very nice and very helpful. So go do it. Why not?
Yeah. I remember we post on Blue Sky, not just when the episodes come out, but also like if they don't. So if you're ever confused by things, check out our Blue Sky. We have a handle. I think it's like at belting at windmills or something. Just I don't know. You search.
It'll be linked. Yeah. If you want to check out some of the other great shows on the Duff Network, you can go to duffmedia.com and see all of them. They're all there. I'm pretty sure they're all there, except the secret ones, but I can't tell you about those anyway.
No, I think it might just be on our Patreon, but even for free subscribers, because you can free subscribe to Patreon now. We have Matt's like ongoing kind of serialized web story that's like really kicking off at the moment. So if you want to follow all that stuff, you don't even have to pay anymore. Just join the
Just go to the Patreon. Yeah, totally. And otherwise, we'll see you next week in a week for our next episode covering chapters 23 through to 29. So we'll see you then.
Yes, that's the 3rd of August.
Bye.